So the Chicago Bears just pulled a bait and switch. And the big question right now, at least the question that I have been asking is what's going on at Hallis Hall? I mean, actually inside the building, because right now, all reports are just showing it to be a big mess. And personally, I'm tired about talking about things like culture and leaders of men. We need a guy to just come in here and just simply be a winner. That's it. And in my opinion, the way to do it, that's allowing GM Ryan Poles to just do his job. And Matt Silverman, he gave some insight into something. It's how GM Ryan Poles was, I would say, a victim of a big time bait and switch. And that's when he came on as an employee to run this franchise. So check out this story on Bleacher Nation. And this might have a lot to say about why this has become so disjointed and so just confused. And on top of that as well, remember when Cliff Stein, he was fired during the offseason, frankly, because he was the source of leaks. Now it appears we have a leaky ship once again, and I'm going to touch on that as well. So I'm going to talk about the front office structure that may be concerning to coaching candidates as well, and that's looking toward Chicago as their destination, and also what this game just had to say for interim head coach Thomas Brown. So let's get to it here. Let's get to the bait and switch. And this is per ESPN's Mark Silverman. He's talking about Poles being promised he would report directly to Chairman George McCaskey when he took the job in 2022. That's it. He was assured of that. But then that's the bait. Here's the switch that changed on January 12th, 2023. That's when Kevin Warren took the CEO job. The resulting change of having to report to Warren, word is that that's made Poles actually regret even accepting the GM job in the first place. And I'll just go straight to what Silverman said on Waddle and Sylvie. Poles liked the direct reporting nature to the team owner. It was very appetizing to him as the general manager to report directly to ownership. There was no buffer. If he had an issue, he could just go right to George, right to ownership. And that when Kevin was hired, super frustrated with that from the start. He never loved it. And it was never a personal thing with Kevin. It was something that he didn't like, that he went from reporting to the owner and now having to report to a team president who reports to the owner. There was a go between. And he was very vocal about that to people he trusted inside the building, that maybe he never would have taken the job to begin with. Man. So frustration started with the hire of Warren. And it's not a personal clash once again. It's flat out a promise of structure that was broken by ownership. And that's actually a big thing, because if you think about it, you're reporting directly to the owner. You're able to have direct input. You're able to get direct feedback. You know exactly what's being communicated. You know exactly where you stand at all times. Now another layer is added. President, then to ownership. Diana Rossini, she also reported on this from front office situation as well. And this is exactly what she's talking about, whether this is actually a stable situation. This is straight from her. There are decades worth of cautionary tales regarding the organization from the top down, and any candidate, he's going to want a clear understanding of the relationship between Warren and GM Ryan Poles. Who has the final say, right? How will that dynamic affect the head coach's authority? And it's no surprise. It's no surprise that coaching agents, potential candidates, they're already doing their homework on Chicago's ownership and leadership dynamic. I mean, I would. They're trying to figure out if this is a stable situation or if it's a risky landing spot. The team claims it's searching for a leader of men, and that might be true. But in Chicago, it seems the men already in the building might be under evaluation as well. So what do you do with this? Are we overreacting, or is this a really indictment on the dysfunction of the Chicago Bears front office? So moving forward, then we hear about Poles wanting Eberflus gone in the offseason. That was vetoed. Wanting him to go after the New England game. Ownership wanted to wait. And it took the Thanksgiving just absolute embarrassment to actually get it done and get Eberflus out of here. And then Poles, I don't want to let him off the hook. He has his own ownership of this going wrong. But if all this is true, I'd be frustrated too if I was him, and probably have the exact same body language at that press conference that Poles just had with Warren. I'm just saying, I probably would have the same body language. I probably would look defeated. I'd probably look like a person who just got a lot of their power stripped away. So, but still all the responsibility publicly. Going back to what Silverman had to say, he even went as far as to like suggest that Poles might actually part ways of the team after the season. I personally don't think it's going to come to that, but it'd be a huge mistake. I think Poles is a great GM, and hopefully all this smoke will clear. We'll get a normal coaching hire process, pick the best guy for the job, and move forward. But man, this stuff coming out, it's super concerning as Chicago Bears fans. And this is kind of what happens. This is what is to be expected when the wheels fall off during a disappointing season, to say the least, a season that was once filled with promise. Deep breath. Everything is still on the table. And then we move on past this. The leaks, they just continue. Rumors surfaced online recently. Poles wanted Eberflus fired after the Bears' 19-3 loss to the New England Patriots. We've already heard that. And then we've got the report surfacing that Poles, he was made aware of Jim Harbaugh's interest in the Bears coaching job in January. But Warren, he absolutely shut that idea down, wouldn't even hear it. Now a report comes out Monday that Poles is frustrated because of how Chicago's ownership essentially misled him about his duties. And if you're a head coaching prospect, essentially vetting the Chicago Bears for your next job, does this turn you off? Does this mean that guys like Ben Johnson are not going to be available? I'm just asking that question. And also, I'm not releasing GM Ryan Poles from all culpability, all responsibility. He has a game to play in this, but it really seems like he is big time hamstrung in his job. So let's get to something else. Let's get to a record-setting performance on Sunday. Are you there? I'm being sarcastic, but I saw this on Bears Wire. I just had to share this. Bears were embarrassed on Sunday. They had 4 yards. Yes, 4 yards of total offense in the first half, and they gave up 319 yards, 24 points. That's also giving up 14 first downs. So we're looking at a 315-yard differential. Hasn't happened all season. I think it hasn't happened in a very long time in one half of football. We set a 2024 record with that one. Congratulations, Chicago Bears. So much positive to be taken from that game. No, honestly, there's absolutely nothing positive from that game. So let's move forward. What does this game do? How does it influence Thomas Brown's situation? And I can just give my take. I think the players might like him, but it looks like that doesn't mean they're going to actually show up and ball for him. They have the look of the team that's just playing out the string now. Listless, unprepared. Unfortunately, I had to watch the whole game. Uninspired, maybe. But as I said over the weekend, unless Brown can stack wins, unless he can get these guys actually played inspired ball, I'm out. I'm out on Thomas Brown if this is the type of performance that I'm going to see on his first game. And they've kind of got a look of a team that's just playing out the string, I would say, listless and unprepared. It's just disappointing. Disappointing, yes. But is this still a blessing team-wise? I'm going to say yes as well. We're getting a chance to test run Brown. And although we had Caleb in the offense playing very well the previous few games, right? This interview on the sidelines, I think it's over in one game. And terrible performance across the board against a 49ers team. They were without their number one pass rusher in Bosa. They were without their number one offensive lineman. Their left tackle actually was out, and we could just do nothing with it. And personally, too, regarding Brown, I like the guy's vibes. I like him as a man. His press conferences are absolutely fantastic. He tells us lots of things that belong on a t-shirt, right? Lots of things that we want to hear. But this might have convinced me that this whole staff needs to go. We need to start from scratch, get a fresh start. And once again, wait and see. Let's see what this season brings. I can only go on by what I saw. And looking further, let's get back to Kevin Warren. He said in his presser that this job is going to be the most attractive job in the league. Coveted is the word that he used. But with what's being leaked, with what we're hearing, is that really the case? And once again, so many good things. $83 million at least in cap space. Caleb, He's the real deal. But what's going on from ownership, team, president, GM, all of these things? And I'm not trying to overreact. Maybe this boat will simply right itself. But man, this organizational, it appears to be disharmony, instability at the worst, whatever you want to call it. It might get in the way of the top candidate coming to coach, coming to consider the Chicago Bears. And this report from Rossini, then added info from Matt Silverman. These are not fringe sources. These are guys that have people that have their fingers on the pulse of the Chicago Bears. And I'm also going to say this raises a concern that organizational control, that's falling by the wayside in general, because we used to have a really tight ship. 25-year employee in Cliff Stein being let go to keep it exactly that. But now we've got team leaders spouting off to the media throughout all this mess. And now things about the inner workings of the front office are being shared outside of school. And it just kind of feels like a spiral here. I hope it can get righted. I have faith that it can get righted. Poles and Warren stick together. They absolutely nail this hire. Getting it right, winning games, that cures most ills. I think it can cure this right now, and we can be back to smooth sailing again. But a lot of these things that we're hearing, not overly encouraging. I just wanted to share that, be real with what's actually going on instead of all being Pollyanna about this at every moment. So bear down. Thank you for watching as always, and I will keep you updated throughout the week. See ya.